Hi and welcome to this Fusion 360 tutorial. Today we're going to design a USB memory stick and we're going to focus on the extrude and split features in Fusion 360. If you like a copy of the final model and also the model of the USB or the PCB, please check the link in the description below. So if we jump into Fusion.
So if I go back up to here and just show you one design that I come up with, you'll see what I've done. So this design could easily be 3D printed in layers or even laser cut, say out of acrylic. And then I could put the circuit inside. So if I hide some of these, you see that the circuit's in there. I can put the circuit inside and glue these layers up, and I've got a very simple design. There's nothing wrong with that design, okay? It will work, it will function, but I'm just going to show you a different technique on this one. Okay, so first of all, we're going to click on Sketch. I'm just going to hide that so we've got a bit more space. And I'm going to zoom in and I'm going to click on this bottom layer here. And I'm going to zoom out, use the pan tool just to pan it around. And I'm just going to turn it this way because it's just easier to show you what's happening. Right, the first thing is to create a design, a body around this. And then what we're going to do, once we've got that in 3D, I'm going to subtract this component away from the body, and it'll basically create like a cavity for this USB to sit in. And then there's another few things that we might do in terms of splitting it to create a cap, or splitting the main body in half, so it's easy to assemble later, but I'll show you that shortly. So we can use any of these tools up here or a combination of those. So I could use circles, I could do lines to create a design, ellipses, I could use a spline if I want a very curvy design. It is entirely up to you. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to create quite a simple design to start with. I'm going to use a set of circles. I'm going to hover on this center line and I'm going to drag this out. And I need to make my body obviously bigger than the actual circuit board. So if I'm drawing this here and that's like part of the cap, it's clearly not going to fit. It's going to be sticking out. So this needs to be a little bit bigger. So I'm going to go for, say, stick with 26 is quite good. And click enter. So if you remember before, you could always click dimension, dimension these, and edit any of these by clicking on it. So if I want to do 25, I could do that. And again, I could use some straight lines, curves, or whatever to create a design in here. Now what I'm going to do is something that you may have practiced before, is create a rectangular pattern. So I could draw a circle and another circle and dimension them, but just to make life a bit quicker and easier, I'm going to use this to stretch it out. I'm not going to stop there because I want my circuit board to be within my design. So I'm going to go a little bit further, like so. And I want all these circles to be the same size. You might want smaller circles. It all depends on your design, but I want them the same. So I'm going to copy those across like that. I'm going to come to the house so I can see what's happening in 3D. And I'm going to extrude this. Now, depending on your shape, what you might want to do is tidy up your sketch by using the trim. And you could delete some of these intersecting lines. But I'm going to save a bit of time by just going to extrude. And I'm going to just select all these like so. So I'm also left clicking to select those. I'm going to come to the front view so I can see what's happening. And Fusion wants to cut. So it's going in red, it's got cut. I don't want it to cut. I don't want to join, because if it joins, it's going to fuse into the circuit board of the PCB. I don't want it to do that. I don't want it to cut. Don't want to do an intersect. I could do a new body. That's one way of doing it. But I'm going to create a new component. And a new component will make certain things easier later. I'm going to drag this up. And as you can see, it's only going one direction. So I could do two-sided. If I want, say, the top to be slightly thicker and thinner than the bottom, I could do that, like so. Or I could do symmetry. Now that's doing half the length, so it's doing 3 millimeters either side. I could do the total length. which is 3mm at the moment. We're going to stretch that up to say 7mm, and you can see what that's done. Remember, new component will be easier for later. So what I've got at the moment, if we go up to here, I've got this body and I've got this component here. Now I could later create a component of that if I want to do like an exploded view and stuff like that, which I'll show you later, but for now I'm just going to keep it as a body. What I want to do is essentially subtract that body away from this component, and it's very easy to do. All we do is go to combine, or this is in modify, like so, and target body. Target body is this body here, what I've created. The tool is going to be this one here, and I want it to cut. There are again some different options. I don't want to join it or do an intersect. What I want to do is a cut, so it's going to subtract it, and I need to tick keep tools. If I don't click that, then what might happen is my USB might disappear. So I want to keep it, and I'm going to click OK. Then you might be thinking, sir, that hasn't done anything. Okay, it has, because it's on the inside. So the way to look at that is a number of ways. What I'm going to do is select that top surface, go section, and I'm going to drag this down. And you can see what it's done, it's subtracted my circuit board away from my body. It might be easier if I do a cross section. Use it in, let me select one of these origins. I'm going to select that one. And what it's done, like I say, it has subtracted away from that part. It'll become a bit more clear later. So I'm just going to click cancel for now. Now, what we've got is we've got my circuit board inside my body. And really I need to separate this here, create a cap away from the body. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to activate this component. That's why it's good to use components. So I'm going to activate it by clicking on here. That means it will only affect this particular component. It's not going to affect the circuit board. Now with that active, I'm going to click sketch, and I'm going to click this top surface. Again, I'm just going to spin it around, make life easier, and zoom in like this. Just click escape. Now what I want to do is I want to draw a line where this head of the circle ends, so just about there like that. Now I could try selecting it like that, and press P for project, and click OK. Let's see if that works. Yeah, it has. So it's selected that edge of the circuit board. And once I've done that, I could use a line and draw over it, but there's no need to do that. I go to the house, and I'm going to go up to modify, and I'm going to find the split body. This time body to split, it's this one. The tool I'm going to use that straight edge there. Extend is fine in this occasion. If I had maybe a part of the body coming around here or something and I don't want it to split right across, but on this occasion it's fine to be ticked. I'm going to click OK. And as you can see, what it's done there, it's split this. So if I now go into here, what I've got is now this here. Okay, so I've got my cap and I've got my body like so. And then what I can do is, at the moment, if I hide the cap and we spin this around, the reason this is sort of semi-transparent is because it's not active. It's there, but it's not active. So remember, I've picked this. I could 3D print the cap, 3D print the body. I could get my circuit board. I could put a bit of an adhesive on it if I wanted to, and then I could push and slide it into here. And then that will work. However, that's probably not the best way of doing it, because one of the things is when we're designing a product, we want to think about the environment, and avoid using adhesives and glues. And also we want to design a product so it's easy to disassemble, so it can be repaired at the end of its life, it can be recycled. So we want to be able to get inside it and maybe have a number of components to do that. But what we're going to do is I'm going to create a sketch again, and I'm going to create a sketch on this side plane. So sometimes it could be a bit tricky to click plane, so I'm just going to select up here. I'm going to click on the house. If I click that again, sorry, go up sketch, to make sure I click the right one. Okay, that one there we go. All right, and we've got this. So now what I'm going to do is, if I hover over it, it's going to come up with a number of lines. And I'm actually going to use this top bit of the circuit like that. And then I'm going to press P again, or go to project. And I'm going to project that edge and click OK. So that's seeing the top of the circuit board. And now it's made a line as a reference. Go up to, not combine, we go up to split. Okay. And we're going to split which body this time? This one. What's the splitting tool? And we're going to choose, if I just hide that, I'm going to choose a sketch. I'm going to split that. So what you've got here now is your cap. You've got your top part of the body and your bottom part of the body. So now what I could do is, I could, when I'm assembling this, push my circuit board in, and then I can place on the top. So the top could be placed on and glued in, but again, it's probably not best for the environment in terms of just gluing it together. And also I want to be able to get inside it to repair it and disassemble it. So what we're going to do is I'm going to hide this one again. And I'm going to click a sketch on this top surface, zoom out, spin this around. And what I'm going to do is create some like little pins. Now this will depend on your design, how many pins or where they go. But I'm going to put a little pin, say up here, down there, maybe another two there, maybe one at the back. And we'll have pins sticking up on one part, and then we'll have the holes on the opposite side so it push together. So this is an easy way to do it. There are more complex ways of doing it, and I could teach you how to do that, but this is the easiest way. So I'm going to go create some little pins. I'm going to make sure that these are not too small, so I probably wouldn't go any smaller than what I've just done on the screen. And we're going to put, if I dimension this, okay, so that's 9mm. I could draw these in one at a time. If I go to rectangle, this time I only want 2, and I only want 2. And I've dimensioned that because I know that's 9mm in the center. In total, all the way down, it would be 18. And I've spaced that out roughly where I want it to go. I could maybe bring that back a little bit further. Any of this you can edit later. I'm going to click OK. And actually, I'm going to keep it as 4. I was going to put one in there, but I'll keep it as 4. And we're going to go up to here. We're going to go up Extrude. And I'm going to extrude this. And I'm going to go up, say, 2mm or something like that. You don't want to go a bit crazy because this will then end up poking out of this design here, so you don't want that to happen. So we want, say, 2.5mm. Again, you could always change this, and I'm going to click OK. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the same tools I did before. and I'm going to subtract this bottom body away from the top, and it'll leave the holes in there. Oops, if I could turn that off. Now, what I'm going to do before that is, just to make this easier to remove, I'm going to add a tiny little fillet on these edges. Let's try 1mm. That's a bit, because it's a bit too big. So I'm going to add 0.5 or maybe 0.25. So just a little round. And that'll just make it easy when you're pushing it on to get it on and off. There'll be a slight gap. So I'm going to turn this one on. And then I'm going to make sure I select the right tool this time. So I'm not doing a split. I'm going to use combine. The target body is this one. The tool is this one. I do want it to cut and I do want it to keep. I'm going to click OK. So again, you might be thinking it hasn't done anything, but if I hide that one, spin that around, it's now subtracted those away from that. And I could use that as a simple sort of push fit. Again, there are more complex ways of doing that, but that's maybe a simple way of doing it. So we've improved this now, this design, because we can actually take apart the body rather than just having a block with a hole in it where you push the circuit board in. This is a better way because you can actually snap those parts. Now, the other things I would probably want to do on this is round some of these edges. I could even add some extra detail on top. So I'm just going to go fillet, and I'm going to select these edges. I'm going to type in a dimension. So 2, yeah, that's not bad. And if I spin this around, and I use Control, select these as well, and this little one here, and this one here. And I've rounded that off. I could. What happens if I not that one? Oh, go away. Now, if I just do that again, so come on here, come on now, that one. Oh, choosing the wrong ones. Got to be careful when you're clicking. If you've typed in a dimension, it will give you a preview like that. Again, I'll control, just be careful you're clicking. Okay, don't get lazy like I am there. Got a bit, spin it around. Hold Control, like so. Now what you could do this in stages if you wanted to. If you've got lots of edges, I'm going to click OK. And again, F for fillet or fill at the top. Like that. So that's looking a bit better. All right, so again, a nice simple design. Again, I could come in and go, let's hide both of those actually. Spin this round. Use fillet again, this edge here, but I'm going to go really small this time. Just a slight fillet on there. Like that, maybe hide that this time and again. So this is all details just to make your design, one, a bit more ergonomic, and two, it looks better. And again, I'm going to select this one. So let's get that there. F for fillet. Like that. Okay. And turn that one on. Now this is activated. If I go to the top and activate everything, if I just turn my origins off, I've now got, I'll just close this, just tidy this up a little bit. I've now got a design. Okay, so I've got a cap or lid here. I've got the body, which is split into 2 parts, and I've got my USB on the inside. And again, you can add extra things. So you could add text on the top and extrude it. You could add a pattern and extrude, either cut or extrude it so it sticks out, and add sort of a texture to your design. There's lots and lots of things that you could do. So have a go.
Thanks for watching, and if you found this content helpful, please click like and subscribe, and also check out any other resources and videos created using the links in the description. I'll see you on the next one.